We have with us today Tetiana from Diversido, a woman behind the tech companies.
I think there is something in it that in general women a bit more humble, let's say. So we have this tendency of thinking, okay, so maybe there is not that much to be proud about, so there are a lot of other people who are better, who did more and other things.
Yeah, but that's very interesting what you're saying. It's not because somebody else is doing that to you, it's we are doing it to ourselves. Nobody else said that you're not good enough to be posting on LinkedIn. That was your own noise, that was own voice inside saying, am I good enough?
Everything that you want is possible, but you just need to plan it. That's very important and very hard to see our true desires behind all those society-driven goals. And I think that what I want to say that fear is the worst what can happen to us. So just don't, if you don't do anything because of fear, so just do it, and fear, it will go away, and the next time you will not be afraid and you will do bigger and bigger. So you just need to do the first step.
Yet another episode. We have with us today Tetiana from Diversido, a woman behind the tech companies, the companies that she's building, but above all, a woman who's still a woman and who talks about all her achievements, all her challenges, and all of us to be inspired by. Welcome, Tetiana.
Hello.
Before we start, can I just say, before all the titles and the companies, who is the woman behind the company? Let's talk about who Tetiana is.
That's an interesting question, because usually when we've asked who we are, we think about titles, we think about what we do for our living, rather than who we are as a person. I am mom. That is
Again,
I think
your role. That's yours.
that's but that's a huge part of my identity as well, because I really love my children, and that is a huge part of who am I. My little ones, they're quite young. They are 7 and 4. Also, I am yogi, so I practice yoga for 10 years now, and it helps me a lot with with taking my life, with making decision, with being happier version of myself. I am explorer. I am always curious about new things, and that is part of the reason why I'm enjoying running my own business, because I can choose what to do, what to learn. And there are when you're doing your own business, you have so many things to try, and the landscape is changing, the new technologies appear, the new things you should be aware of, and that is very interesting for me. I love to learn. I love learning languages as well. That's my, I think that I would do it full time if I if I didn't have to do other things.
What an interesting personality you are then. Very, very interesting. So you are a person who is full on. You've got so many different hobbies and you want to do so many things. You're full of life. And how do you manage all of this and not getting lost in all the things you have to do, but still having that time to be you, to be a yogi, to keep yourself happier, to be an explorer, to learn languages, and to actually be a mother and run a business as well? How do you do all that?
Sometimes I'm lost. Sometimes I have this feeling that I cannot do it all at the same time. But in general, I think that you just need to remember your priorities. Also, keep things. Try to keep things out of your mind and of your short-time memory, and to have another, some sources of your tasks. So, when the task appears, I'm trying to write it down and then work with my task list. So that helps a lot to prioritize things, and keep everything not in my head, but somewhere on paper or actually in my phone. And also I have one task list for both work and personal and all other things, because usually if you try to separate them, you're just being focused on normally work on.
I love that. Absolutely amazing. Before we started talking here, before we hit the button record, you said to me, oh, well, okay, sorry, I'm going to go a little bit further. First, let's talk about the company you built. So Diversido is a software company. You help startups to bring software and manage their businesses more efficiently. Tell me a little bit more. How have you got into this space? Yes, I understand you were a coder and you've developed all your life, but getting into a space which is pretty much male dominated and you bringing your own businesses after having 13 plus years in the industry, what made you do and set up your own company?
So I participated in a couple of startups before founding my own company, and then one of them, the company got closed because it didn't get funding. They didn't raise the round, and we had the team.
Tell me a little bit about how did you get into this space and what you said you were working with a few startups anyway, and then tell me how did you start up for your own self?
Yeah, so I worked in a couple of startups before founding my own company, and one of them got closed because they didn't raise the next round. And we had a team who worked very well together, talented developers. I didn't do much coding by then, so I was more switched to project management, product management roles, like a little bit of design, and I decided why not to try run our own company. So I found it. I found our first clients, and that's how everything started. And so working in several startups before Diversido, I was raising money. I was doing all those CEO things, and it was very hard. And I decided that okay, and because I didn't have enough experience in this area because I was a coder all the time, and then suddenly I got those role that was I wasn't ready to it, and that's why I decided okay, I will do what I can do very good. I do software, but I will leave all those business related stuff to my clients because they are probably better in this. But now I am more than 10 years past and I am starting my own startup as well. So very in the shoes of both client and development company. So yeah, that's an
That's
interesting
absolutely
journey.
amazing. So you took the plunge, you took the risk where you were thinking, hang on a second, I'm doing this for somebody else anyway, and why not do it for myself? And there's no going back. But going back to what you just said, when you were starting up and now very recently you've started putting yourself out there because how we connected was on LinkedIn. And you said, the first thought was, who am I? Why is anyone going to be interested in what I am doing? And I can see your connections. You have a hell of connections out there. So people are definitely interested in what you're saying. And it also builds your own credibility. But why I'm asking you this question is, do you think there is a role of being a woman which made you that thought that why are people going to listen to me? Who am I? While you are great at in your industry, you've built your own company helping startups to actually be efficient in their own companies. So why that question?
That's a good one. I think there is something in it that in general women a bit more humble, let's say. So we have this tendency of thinking, okay, so maybe there is not that much to be proud about, so there are a lot of other people who better, who did more and other things. But to be honest, I work I studied in very male dominated university. I worked all my life in uh, the industry that IT, it always has been more for the boys rather than girls. Now it's getting a bit different, but when I started, it was male only world.
Yeah.
But I never encountered any discreditation or any or maybe I didn't notice that, but but
Yeah.
I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's very interesting what you're saying. It's not because somebody else is doing that to you. It's we are doing it to ourselves. Nobody else said that you're not good enough to be posting a LinkedIn. That was your own noise. That was own voice inside saying, "Am I good enough? Why not?" When you've worked so hard, like if I was speaking to somebody else, they're like, "Oh, I'm not bragging, but these are my achievements. These are the things I have got awarded for." Why use the why use the word brag while you're actually talking facts that this is what I've achieved? So why do we shy by saying what we've achieved? It's okay to talk about your achievements, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true, and that's why I started. And actually, and I'm enjoying it as well, so that, because it's also the opportunity to meet very interesting people like you, and to talk and exchange the stories, and yeah, that's a very interesting uh, things to do.
Oh, that's amazing. So tell me a little bit more about Diversido. So why I'm asking you is every startup, I speak to a lot of women who are, we are starting up, we want to do our own, I don't know, maybe start a business, maybe start a coaching session, maybe start into a pharmaceutical company or aesthetics or I don't know, beauty industry or anything. For a startup, why should they be investing in a software, and what is the kind of what is Diversido? What do you actually give people out there?
So we help startups to build their mobile applications, web applications, websites. So that's what we do. Not everybody need it. I mean, there are a lot of ready-to-use solutions, white label applications that you can just custom, especially if you're doing like coaching or I don't know, the beauty clinic. There are a lot of solutions that you don't need to build from scratch, but modify the existing ones, and just save time and money, because you don't need to build it. And usually when our clients come to us and ask for something, to do something that is, I know, already on the market, so I'm just always recommending them to go and check the solution, because anyway, I'm trying to help. that's
That's
that the first thing.
So isn't that amazing that you're actually not there selling your services, you're adding value to a client. And hence your post recently was about relationship building with your client. So you in that process have built a relationship with your client because your trust they're trusting you for your honesty. You're not actually going out there, no, 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 you have to buy it from me. You're actually giving them all solutions that are available, and then when they make a decision to come to you, is because the value you're actually adding to their lives and their businesses. So why do you think like that? Why are you not thinking like a normal business where it'll be like, these are my services, sell?
um, I don't know. That's probably something that I was taught when I was growing up. Like, you treat people as you want them to treat you. But it's not about, I don't know, self-sacrifice, or like, I don't know, doing charity instead of business. But there is also, so when you are approaching people, like people with respect, with honesty, they can feel it, and they are more likely to come back to you. So even if, like, today you recommend them to go to some other place and not earn them, but they will remember that, okay, so there was this company who didn't try to sell me something, but they just recommended some efficient solution, and they will come to us, or they will recommend us to their friends, or when they need the software to be built for them, some custom one. Or we also provide some of more like easy to use services like website development. Everybody needs a website, so
Yeah.
that's another thing. Yeah, so I, like, that is my rule, and I'm always so that is like one of our core values, the honesty, transparency, and being there for the clients. And it actually pays off in terms of loyal clients, their support. So they feel it, and they respect us also, not use us as, like, some temporary
Service
filler. Yeah,
provider.
yeah.
Yeah. Totally, because I think that is something you speak about anyway. It's about empathy, it's about flexibility, and it's about what you just said, respect your clients. So if you're in a space where you're building trust and you're gaining their trust, they are more likely to come back. And this is what brings me back to the point where you talk about behavioral science and bringing that human element to your skill set of tech. So talk to me a little bit more about, because do you think, and I also feel being a woman, your level of empathy and emotional intelligence is already very high. Does that help you bring that side of the business together?
I think so. I think so because the behavioral science and behavioral design is based very much on the human psychology. And I think that women, we are much more interested in that topic, and we are better with the empathy. It's easier to put ourselves in our user shoes and just, reflect. What do we feel? Does it feel good, or it's like something is missing there? So I'm sure that from this perspective, it's definitely, being a woman definitely helps.
Tatiana, I feel you'll be rocking the tech industry, which has been very male dominated, because you know what? The world is actually looking for soft skills. They are saying the leaders have to change. The leaders, how the businesses were run before, it's not all about, the leadership qualities are more on soft skills now. It's more on empathy. So it doesn't matter what industry you're in, it's how the relationships you're building with your clients or your users is what is going to define the success of the business. And you are proving that. You're proving that. You're saying you had one client and now your clients actually have stayed with you for over 10 years, because there's always something else to develop. Even then, even when you're actually sending them somewhere else for a ready-made solution, they come back for something else because the relationships you're building. And that's where being a woman is actually changing the narrative of being in a business and starting the entrepreneurship yourself. Tell me, what would your advice be for a woman who is scared to start in an industry where she thinks she might not be good enough, or it's going to be, she might be too much, or she's not going to understand?
Um, when you are starting in the industry, there is not that many women in, it gives you actually the uniqueness. So people remember this girl who was, I don't know, the racing driver, I don't know, the developer, the CEO of the startup. So they remember you better. And also men, actually, they are not that bad.
No, they're definitely not that
They
bad
are.
at
and
all.
and they have a tendency also, so from what I noticed from my experience, so they have the tendency to help, to support as well. So they are not treating women as a weaker competitor who they just swipe away. They're ready to help. They are eager to help. So that's more of what we feel, that as you mentioned. So that is not that somebody is telling us you are not good enough. That's something that we are telling ourselves, and we are always doubting, are we good enough? But men, they usually accept, and they support as well. So that's not especially in IT. I understand that I work in IT all the time, and probably in the other industries it's very different, and it's more complicated to go through. Like, you need to know people, or you need to do some other things. So that's I'm saying only about IT here. The chances are pretty good to be successful, and I know a lot of successful women in the industry, and they're um, they're combining it all together. They're beautiful, they are wonderful moms, and they are successful businesswomen. So that is definitely possible. So you just need to
You
try.
can have it. You can have it all. You
You
can
can.
do it
You
all.
can.
It's just a fire to do it, right? So, tell me, how would you define your narrative right now? Where do you stand in life, and how do you see that your narrative? What's your role model out there?
I think more balance. So that's what I'm looking for. So because I still have more tendency to work more, and I want to bring it back, to the equal balance of work life outside of work, because I don't believe in the work life balance, because work is actually part of life, very important and very enjoyable. So that is not like some suffering that you just need to do. So that is enjoyable part of your life. But there are also other parts, other roles that like require your attention, and so having like more balance and more joy, I think that is my goal.
That is your goal. Amazing. And how are you achieving that goal? What are the steps you're taking to achieve that goal? And what is your advice to somebody who is actually feeling very stuck in that work-life balance, as you just said? There is no balance, but that word, that jargon is out there. What is your advice to that woman who feels like, oh my gosh, this is actually bogging me down?
That was something that I was told about a year ago, and it stuck with me very much. So that try to plan the changes that you want to have, but assuming and understanding that you cannot have everything right now. So plan for like 3-5 years. So actually everything that you want is possible, but you just need to plan it in like, years. So like, you're planning 3 years in advance, put all the goals that you want to have in 3 years. And then include everything. So like in 3 years, what will make you like you happy, fulfilled, everything. So like travel, I don't know, spending time with your family, I don't know, your husband, uh, everything, your income and other things, and then break it into the smaller chunks. So because like what tendency do we have when we want like something, we want it right now, and when we try to do everything, like gym membership, I don't know, new dates, the like all the travels and all the work, and trying to earn all the money you want, and all at the same time. And if it's not happening in 1 month, you feel, okay, I'm failing my goals. But if you accept that you can have it all, but not right now, and just break it into the digestible pieces and plan it on this like roadmap, and that will work.
Absolutely love that, because a very dear friend of mine says this all the time. She always says, you can have it all. 100% you can have it all, but maybe not at the same time. So you just have to be patient to have it all, but different times in your life. Beautiful. I also read somewhere where you said you're trying to live your life how you see it, not how others tell you to. Define that a little bit more, because we are in a society where a lot of us do things to please people.
Yeah, and that's very important, and very hard to see our true wishes, our true desires behind all those like society driven goals. And so think you want, but that is just the thing that like you see in commercial, you see like the generations are doing, and like other things you see like the peer pressures as well. But here, this inner voice, it's a hard task, and but when you understand what only you want, and then you should try to make it happen.
I love that. So, where you just said that you can't have it all, and you don't please people. Well, have you always been like that, or is there a shift that's happened?
I think no, I definitely wasn't like that
Yeah.
all the time. But I think that yoga helps me a lot with that. With listening to myself, understanding that like other people are other people, and they have their own things, and like I need to care about myself, about my close circle, and like so that, for example, that is also at least I'm Ukrainian, and in our society is like what other people think is so important.
In every
Like
society, in every culture, in every society. Every city, everywhere, it's about people pleasing, what others are thinking about you. But actually, you know what? We're giving too much importance to
Yeah.
ourselves here because others are not thinking about us. They're thinking about themselves.
Yeah, they could think about us, but we shouldn't value what they think about us more important than what we think, and what, like, how our in the closer circle, our family, our close friends, they are more important, and we need to worry about what they think, how they feel, rather than some, like, I don't know, other people,
Yeah,
neighbors, or yeah.
definitely, definitely. I'm just gonna, sorry. So I'm gonna just quickly wrap this up because this is great. Tell me where, you know, where do you think this whole thing is part of growing older?
Uh, I think in a way, yes. So when we are growing older, we are becoming wiser, but but not always. So that's a I think that's a good thing. If with years we are getting some wisdom and new knowledge, and we are changing, because sometimes with years you're just getting older, and that's it. So
Exactly,
yeah.
you need some wisdom as well. I'm gonna quickly ask you a few questions because I know you're pressed on time. You have to go.
No, no,
Uh,
no. It's okay. It's okay. I have time, so
okay.
ask me.
Um, so how important do you think it is for women for being to be financially independent?
I think it is important for everybody to be financially independent, for sure. Man or
Not a
woman.
man or woman, as a
Yeah.
human being. You just need to,
Yes. Yes.
yeah. That's
You need.
amazing. I love the answer. It's amazing how you've actually got this gender out of it and you've said this is the core being of being a human. That's great. How finish the sentence? Being a woman means?
Being a woman means being gentle.
Love that.
I don't know
No,
why I
I
have this
love
answer.
it. I love it because you know what? You're one of the ambitious women who's sitting in front of me. You want to create something, but at the same time, you're saying being a woman is being gentle. So we don't have to be all tough and everything. We can be us, but still have our aspirations and ambition and want to create something what we want to create. That's a beautiful answer. Um, why do you think it is important for women to share their stories and their experiences? Because this takes me back to how we started our conversation. You saying, "Oh, who's going to listen to me?"
Because I think that could be a good inspiration for other women to see that, like, just the same girl is me. They are doing something, and they are not afraid, and they are. And somebody is listening to them, and somebody is talking to them, and somebody invited them to their podcast.
Yay! You know what? It's so. I mean, I'm just gonna put this on record because I think you got in touch with me a few months ago saying, "What is your whole thing about podcasts? Shall I be a guest or shall I start my own?" And I said, "Try both. If you don't try, how would you know?" And that is my firm belief. Till the time you don't try, how would you know? Why are we living in a place where we don't know? Why are we putting question marks? Let's go and try. There's only one life we live, isn't it? And it's amazing when your children start echoing those words as well, because that's what my daughter always says to anything I say, "Mom, there's only one life to live." True. So true. It's been so great speaking to you. Is there anything else you wanna leave the viewers and the audience who are listening to us today? What would that be? What would that advice be for a woman who's feeling absolutely stuck? Leave her with one inspiration that she can take action towards her happiness.
I think that what I want to say, that fear is the worst what can happen to us. So just don't, like, if you don't do anything because of fear, so just do it, and like, fear, it will go away, and the next time you will not be afraid, and you will do bigger and bigger. So you just need to do the first step.
That's so cool. I absolutely love it. Tatiana, this has been great conversation. I absolutely loved every single moment of it and great speaking to you. Let's keep in touch.
For sure. Thank you so much for having me. That was a very, very nice conversation.
Thank you.